Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters gets a July 2020 date. So previously, we only knew that it was going to be coming summer of 2020. Now we actually know the date that the Ghostbusters sequel is going to be dropped. So, whatever you want to call it, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 3. I got a feeling, because a lot of the things I'm seeing aren't saying Ghostbusters 3, even though this technically would be Ghostbusters 3, I think they're pulling a Halloween on us, and it's just going to be Ghostbusters. But obviously it's not going to be a reboot or a remake, it's going to be a sequel, so that's why I think they're kind of pulling the Blumhouse Halloween thing on us. Which can be a little confusing at times, but I think that's more for marketing purposes. So the article says all we really know about the next live-action Ghostbusters film at the moment is that it will be directed by Jason Reitman and return to the continuity of the original films, disregarding the events of the 2016 remake entirely. Thank you. Reitman co-wrote the script with Gil Keenan, and the film may or may not feature the return of the original characters. But let's be real, it probably will. What we do have tonight, however, is a date. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a date, as someone is, for some reason, trying to contact me on a landline that just doesn't work. So I don't know why they're doing that. we don't edit anything out here at the Bloody Breakdown podcast, in case anyone's wondering. So anyway, let's go ahead and move right along here. So they say what we do have tonight, however, is a date. When first announced, all we were told is that it was coming summer of 2020, and tonight we've learned it will open. Brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your date for all you big Ghostbusters fans. July 10th, 2020. The article goes on to say, we can only assume that the original gang will be back given the film's, quote, return to form approach. But at this time, none of the actors have officially stepped into the Ecto-1. We expect to learn a whole lot more about Reitman's Ghostbusters in the coming months, so stay tuned and rest assured that you'll know what we know as soon as we know it. And that, like I said, coming courtesy of Bloody Disgusting. So, yeah, awesome news right there, guys. Not a whole lot to take in as far as dissecting this article and the news in it. But to sum up, Ghostbusters, official release date, July 10th, 2020. I can't wait. But with the good Ghostbusters news, there's also some negative Ghostbusters news out there. And we're going to go ahead and discuss it. I did speak on this briefly on the Geek Room podcast with my co-host Frank over at the Geek Room. But we're going to talk about this here as well, too. And this one also coming to us courtesy of Dread Central. And the article title here is, to put it mildly, Leslie Jones is not happy with the Ghostbusters 3 announcement. Now, this one's been floating around the internet a little bit longer than some of the other stories I've been covering here, but I figured if I was going to tackle the announcement of the release date for the new Ghostbusters film, let's talk about this one as well. Okay, so we'll just jump right into the article here. 2016's Ghostbusters reboot was a total shit show. No, not because it featured a female cast, and yes, it was a decent flick, but it brought out the darkest aspects of fandom, with the film being eviscerated before it was even screened for press. Worse, many internet trolls used the fervor to indulge an unbridled racism and misogyny. Not cool, horror fans. And let me go ahead and stop you right here. Yeah, there were some, and I wouldn't just say automatically these are just horror fans. These are just assholes that, wanted to be racist towards Leslie Jones, wanted to be misogynistic towards the all-female cast, but, let's be real here. That was a minority, all right? I think most people who had an issue with the Ghostbusters reboot in 2016 had legitimate reasons for not liking that film. First off, I thought the writing was atrocious. I really didn't have too much bad to say about the actresses involved in the film. I thought they probably did the best they could with what they were given. Was it good? No. Was it funny? No. Was it inventive or original in any aspect at all? No. I mean, the villain was the fucking logo from the original film. You know, it wasn't a good movie. The moments that were intended to be funny were not. They fell flat. And this is nothing new. Reboots and remakes, especially in the horror genre, have been shit on, and a lot of times rightfully so, for 15, 20 years at this point. I mean, I say 20 because go back and look at the Psycho remake with Vince Vaughn. It was garbage. And, you know, we didn't have to sit here and have a conversation about, you know, is it racist or misogynistic that you believe that just because a couple of assholes do. So, you know, and let's not even get started on the whole females in horror thing, because horror fans love Ripley. You know, there are several female characters, protagonists and antagonists, that are strong, endearing female characters in horror. So, I don't even want to hear that thrown at a general sense at horror fans. This was a small minority of assholes. And you know what? To me, it's not really fair to say that, hey, not cool horror fans, you shouldn't be doing this. Let's not say horror fans. You know, and that's, yeah, I do have a bit of an issue with Dread Central putting it that way. And I'll leave that part at that. So basically what's going on, and I'll read you the quote. We'll get into the meat of this because I don't want to waste too much time on it. Leslie Jones recently was quoted as saying on her Twitter, so insulting, like, fuck us, we don't count. It's like something Trump would do. Apparently doing this next part in a Trump voice. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with men. Will be huge. Those women ain't Ghostbustering. So annoying. Such a dick move. Oh, I guess we're back to not being Trump anymore. And I don't give a fuck. I'm saying something. So yeah, that's what she had to say. Is it a Trump move? Is it a Trump move to want to go back to what worked? Like, look, you know, I really don't want to get into politics on this podcast. It's not supposed to be about that. It's supposed to be about horror fans enjoying horror and talking horror. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not. But at the same token, is this something Trump would do? I don't think so. I think if Trump were remaking Ghostbusters, first off, it would have to have his last name in it somewhere, because every endeavor he's ever done has had his last name in it somewhere. So I don't buy that. Bottom line is this. The producers and the people involved in this franchise they're faced with a decision. You know, if we want to continue on with this franchise, our options are as follows. We can continue the 2016 reboot storyline that generally overall was disliked by the viewing audience, or we can go back to the original storyline. And don't get me wrong, there's issues with Ghostbusters too. This is the original sequel. But if you're looking at this from a standpoint of, you know, what's going to make us the most money, what is going to actually, revive this franchise, that's the answer. That's the answer, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's plain and simple. It's obvious. And that's what's going on here. I don't believe this is a racist or misogynistic thing. It's simple. It's giving the general fan what they want. It's trying to make some money. And that's what it all boils down to. If you enjoy my content and want to support Bloody Breakdown, here are a few ways you can do so. Become a patron of the channel at the Patreon link below. You can make a one-time or a monthly contribution. Simply select a tier of $1, $5, or $10 and unlock the perks that come with your tier of choice. Perks range from early access of videos to your name in the credits listed as a producer. Check out our Amazon wish list with tech items that could go a long way in improving the overall quality of the channel and the podcast. Install Honey. Honey is a free web browser extension that automatically finds and applies coupon codes at checkout for over 30,000 shopping sites, saving you money and coupon searching time. It only takes 2 clicks to install, and using my link in the description section below helps to support Bloody Breakdown.